But yeah, let me kind of just go through how I made the bass first. Bearing in mind I've got Audio Finder, which is something I like to use all, like, you know, a lot of the time. I've got that open in another window. There you go. I think what I've done, basically Audio Finder is great. If you haven't got it, then get it. Basically what you do is you obviously put all your samples into a folder and then scan that folder, and then once it's stored it as a library, you can then search, like for example, I searched sub, and not only does it bring you up anything with sub in the text, it's like anything that was in a folder called sub or anything like, which is great. So basically, whilst making this, I just typed in sub into my sample packs. 1 second. I don't know exactly which one I use. That's it, pitch wife sub. There you go. So I took pitch wife sub and dragged it into Contact. Worked out what key it was and stuck it into the sample. I worked out that it was an A. So I've set the root as A3 here, even though it is I think it was A2, but anyway, yeah, it's A3. So basically, yeah, I got that first, and that's when the rest of the bass is there. Oh yeah, and all my drums are in red, all my bass is in green, and yellow is like the vocal sample and the intro sample. So yeah, I got this sub. I like the sub for the simple fact that it's got this kind of pitch envelope on the beginning, so it's got a nice little knock and a tap to it. So essentially, mute the drum so you can hear the sub on its own. And then the notes I've played, like D sharp, E, D sharp. So let's just play that. It was as simple as that basically. Then what I've done is I set up a send to bus 13 here, and I've added a bit crusher. Took the downsampling up to 11 times, and then with an EQ I've scooped out all the bottom end. Could actually come up a bit higher. I've actually stuck a limiter on here as well because the levels weren't really, I wanted it to kind of, obviously the sub's got a bit of dip in the volume, so I wanted to kind of keep the level pretty flat with regards to the bit crusher. It was going up and down. Sounds a bit better now. So I've got that. So that was it basically. I made the sub. And then let's play that quickly. Was then thinking, you know, what to do with it. Like I said, I tried some other bass lines, some warmer sounding stuff with massive and things like that. And then I thought to myself, you know what, it's crying out for a reese. So I went back to Audio Finder and I searched reese on my computer. No doubt I probably won't be able to find the exact same reese now. I think it was something from Industrial Strength Records, drum and bass. I think this was it. I'll be able to tell you exactly which one it was. So here it is. Open up Contact now. Turn off the drums and sub. RC underscore volume 1, please. Oh, there we go. And what number was it? 2. It's actually this one. And obviously it says in the sample there that it was a C, so as soon as I drag it into Contact it would have automatically been set in key. Let's play it again. So I've done that, and then obviously just copied the notes from the sub down to it. What I've done here with Contact, one second, if we get rid of the sub again, is I've turned the output of Contact to no output, and then I'm sending in, I've sorted out some sends here. This EQ isn't turned on, that's right, so that's nothing. Bus 25 and bus 26, the mid bass is going to, so let's have a look at them. They're both going to bus 50. We'll have a look at that in a sec, but let's solo that. This is the first one, bus 25 of the mid bass. You see I've done a high cut at 900 here and a low cut at 130. And then a little dip at 200 just to kind of give the snare some space to breathe. That's also okay. And then the other one is here, bus 26. That's essentially the high end of the sample. Now obviously together. Yeah, and then I've sent the high end, so like bus 26 to some reverb, bus 16. Lexicon reverb, some hall reverb. Stereo tool plug in there, just took the width down to 50. I didn't want it to be that big, kind of, because I like to, when I'm working, if I listen to it, I like to be able to press. I've always got on my master, I've got a gain set up which has got mono in it, and mono selected in my gain, and then like I'll always back, and if I lose something, I don't like to lose to lose something when I'm in mono. Obviously majority of stuff I make gets played out in clubs more than anything, so on a big club sound system it's essentially mono, so I try to make things sound as big in mono as possible, mix wise. So yeah, that's a 50% the reverb, so it isn't as wide as most. So yeah, so the reverb, the low mids and the highs are all going to bus 50. So solo bus 50 now. I've got on here, I've got a Sonaxis filter, which I just do some automation in later on in the song. Also got a reverb with the mix set to 0, which also again I use automation. I just bring up the mix. Later on in the song we'll look at that. Again, I've got the stereo tool to 50, just because it's after the reverb. I want to make sure the reverb don't sound too big and sound separate from the rest of the track. And then I've got an EQ again, just cutting off the bottom end of the reverb. Once the reverb goes on, again, I'm just going to bring out some lows. And then again, I've got an L2. Not really doing much. Essentially just holding the levels there, a tiny piece. So let's just play all that back again. Right, now this is another layer I've added, was albino. Let's just unmute it now. Sorry. Again, just copied the notes from the sub. It wasn't the sub, it was actually the mid bass, because the sub's got one extra note, which is massive, which I'm going to look at in a sec. So yeah, this is albino. Let's have a solo of that. It's just a basic square wave, of which I've just cut all the bottom end out of, well, more than just the bottom end. I've took it up to like 1.5k, 1.6. Just filling out the high end a little bit more. And I've got, after the EQ, I've got Brainwork Stereo Maker, which is making, just bringing up the stereo width, obviously, because, let's play the song. I can't really hear it, it's just filling out the top end quite nicely though. I've got the stereo spread there just to spread it so it's not getting in the way of the rest of the sounds that are covering them frequencies. Again, after that I've got a stereo tool, so it's not going wider than 50%. I actually think it's probably at about 30%.
Download over 30 exclusive plugins. Get hundreds of pro-quality samples and power up your production skills with in-depth tutorials. We break it down for you step by step, and you'll see exactly how it's done in expert video guides and producer masterclass sessions with pro producers. Get all this and more with Computer Music Magazine every month on iPad and iPhone, PC and Mac, Android, and in print.